Okay, folks, it's another greyish sort of a day. We had a little bit of rain this morning and the sun came out later. Now it's gone back. It's quite bright considering the sun's behind the clouds. I'll just give you a point up there again. It's a little bit overcast. I do get fed up with this lockdown that we're in. I just wish people would do the right thing and get vaccinated because it's the only way out. I know AstraZeneca has got a bad reputation for blood clots that could lead to death, but that's like one in every a million. It's not like getting in a car and you end up crashing it, because there's a lot more car crashes than there are deaths from AstraZeneca. So fuck yous, you fucking masses are stupid. If this ever gets out from social media into the mainstream media, which I doubt it very much, but if it does, I hope you fucking idiots listen, you fucking masses, you stupid fucking IQ 90 to 110 so-called normal people, you fucking idiots, you fucktards. You got to get I don't want to be in lockdown forever, folks. I am getting sick to fuck of it, folks. I'm sick to hell of it, I know it is necessary, but the only way out of lockdown is through vaccination. Can't you hear me, you fucking idiots? Fuck me dead. Anyway, enough of that. Let's just get stuck into our demo. Okay, I'm dealing with constipation, and one from something that I have to deal with. I've had problems with my pelvic floor, and I'm doing pelvic floor, and I have to monitor how much water I'm drinking and what sort of poo, and taking Metamucil to get because having constipation can lead to leakage. I'm 48, I'm not getting any younger, so we're going to try and enlarge the word poo. I'm going to enlarge that for a bit of a joke. You've got to laugh, folks. I do fucking find that funny. I do like my toilet humour. I do, folks. Toilet humour, something that the pandemic can't take away from me is my fucking toilet humour. But I also do make the occasional joke about COVID-19. So let's see how we go with the word poo and enlarge and make it into a movement piece. Movement, bowel movement. Funny, not. Okay, let's get this shit going. Shit? Fuck me dead. All the poo humour, all the shit humour, toilet humour. Yeah, I haven't had a look at the toilet paper in the shops lately to see how that's gone. Anyway, that's looking quite interesting. It's got a long way to go, enlargement-wise. But the word poo, people during... A lot of people were... I'm surprised I haven't noticed any panic buying of toilet paper and other essentials, which is people are obviously learning. They're obviously listening to the media. The media can be good or bad. It could be both. And when the media does point things out, like to stop panic buying, people eventually seem to listen. So hopefully people will start to listen when it comes to the COVID vaccine. We don't have enough Pfizer. We've got to use up all those AstraZeneca doses. We can manufacture AstraZeneca here in Australia. So why are we wasting something that could be useful? Just because of the jitters. Just because people are fucking stupid. Honestly, people, I'd much prefer to get on AstraZeneca any day. Now there's the word poo looking nice and big. But I'd rather be on, look, I got vaccinated with Pfizer, right? This was back a couple of months ago when I couldn't legally get the AstraZeneca because of the age restrictions. But basically now, if I had it over again if I was still unvaccinated to this day, I'd be happy to get AstraZeneca. I would, folks. Honestly, I would. I'd rather any day to have AstraZeneca than get sick with COVID. Any day. I'm just trying to see where to put this. I do think maybe we can move it in a bit to make it fill the page better. So I'm just going to put it in like so. But yeah, I really wish people would move in the right direction, you know. I mean, the media, even though the media does get it wrong a lot of the time, they can be a useful resource. And if they, a lot of people, these so-called normal people watch a lot of television, they watch a lot of news, and this should be something useful instead of something useless. So I just wish people would at the right moment listen to the media, even though the media does get it wrong a lot of the time. Now that's too big. We're going to move it across a bit. Now that's in the right, I think that's in the right place. This is silly, I can't see there. I can only see it there. It's a stupid design of this stupid copier system. I think we're still too big, to be honest, folks. And I do wonder if that background will disappear. I should have made a better master copy, but then it's nice to have a bit of character in my work, and I've moved it too far that way, so I'm going to have to move it this way. Just somewhere between there and there, somewhere there. And that looks really fucking wishy-washy. I do think we've got to switch this back and maybe use the background bleed remover. It doesn't seem to work as well as you'd like it to. Wondering if we're going to leave it on that. Yeah, that's in a better position. I do think maybe we could move it down a bit, perhaps a little bit, just a tad. Just a little fraction. I do think maybe we could start maybe taking out some of the enlargement. Now that looks a lot better. It still looks a bit, it's not as sharp, but it looks good. It looks better. So maybe we could take out some of that bleed removal, and maybe we can add some text enhance. I think text enhance would probably work. Going to take out some of that. Yeah, I think we've made it too high up. I do think we've moved it down too far. I do think we have to push it up higher again. I did pull it down too far. Push it up. And we're still clipping the top of it, unfortunately. And we've got this looking good. We've got this horizontal looking good. We just have to work on the vertical. So the vertical's got to be less. We're going to distort this aspect ratio wise. So we're going to go 200 with this. Fuck, I got a bit clumsy there, folks. Just wondering if we're going to just leave it there. The word poo. Yeah, that looks brilliant. I think we've got the word poo looking good. I'll just show you, folks, while I just move that around. A little bit of background and a little bit wishy-washy, but there we have it, the word. Now we're going to turn this into something more interesting. We're going to make it into a movement piece, or maybe a mirror image or movement. We're going to move it, as in bowel movements, folks. We're just going to switch it over. This user interface is a pain. I do hate the way it functions. I'm going to keep the text enhance on, and maybe the bleed removal, we're just going to leave it on standard, but we're going to move it now. We're going to make it into something more exciting, as the word poo, as in the toilet. I do like my toilet humour, as I've said. I do find it funny. I'm really missing a loved one, and I'm trying to get social media to bring us together, but we can't currently do that because of the restrictions due to COVID-19, as I said. And that just drives me nuts that people are we're not getting enough vaccination rates, and it's up to the people in order to get over this lockdown. And even if we do crank up the vaccination, it's going to take a while for people to get fully vaccinated. So it's going to take a while for the masses to finally get their tails into gear. That looks interesting, but it looks boring. I'm going to do something more interesting with this. I'm going to maybe move it back and forth. So I'm just going to put it here. I'm going to reduce it on the vertical. But basically, we've got to get our tails into gear so that we can get back to relatively normal living. And that's really proven to be really difficult to try and get people to just make a difference and get vaccinated, you know. And that's the word poo repeated. I'm going to try another one once again. Actually, we could probably use this one. We could use that, or maybe, I don't know, folks. Maybe we're going to make this into a black and white piece instead of a colour. I'm going to make this into black and white, and we're just going to push it over the edge, and we're going to shuffle it again. This is going to be a real prolongated demo, folks. But this is a new micro SD card, so I'm not worried as much, and that's come up looking more crisp than the first one. So we're going to try and see which one we're going to use. We're going to try it again, folks. We're going to try it again to get this word poo looking half interesting. So we're just going to put it up like that. Yeah, that looks a lot better. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better. So we're going to use that as our master copy. I don't know if this is going to work out as quite the way I want it. It might indeed end up being what I'd call a minimalist piece, which I don't really like. I'm not really a person who favourites minimalism, but sometimes minimalism just comes out in my work. So it just comes out in my work a lot of the time, the minimalist way things turn out. Anyway, that looks interesting, but it's not quite what I would like. Yeah, that looks a lot better. It still looks boring though, the colours. Not the colours, the tones. We're going to use that as our master copy. We decided to go black and white for some difference anyway. You know, something a bit more interesting, for a more old schoolish, you could say, folks. Yeah, that looks interesting. I think we could probably use this section here. We could probably use that as a piece to work with. So this will turn out hopefully really well in the end. This piece of minimalist poo-poo work. I maybe think we're gonna put it just on the edge there. So we're just gonna try and line it up nicely, folks. So we're just going to line it up, I guess, on the edge like so, on the edge of there. This is not an easy one, folks. Going at the copied paper, and we're just going to enlarge. Horizontally it's going to be 200, and vertical it's going to be 210. I don't know how this is going to work. I do wonder if I'm going to stay with copied paper instead of dot matrix. I do think maybe a negative image would look nice, but if we can keep it looking old school maybe and have it, I don't know, we'll soon find out how this will look, how well our image is going to turn out. Looks shit house a bit, as in shit, as in poo, get it? Oh, fuck me dead. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we could move it over a bit. I'll move it over a bit. So we're just going to slide it across. This is going to be a real long demo, folks. Yeah, that's too far across, but we can push it across again, just a little bit. I do think maybe, yeah, that was too far across. Going to move it across a little bit once again. Now we're just 20 minutes into this demo and counting. I do want this to turn out a treat. I don't want to hurry it just because I'm using a lot of card and using a lot of black toner of all things. I think this maybe looks nice. I'm just going to try and work out intuitively how to deal with this one, whether we're going to keep running it this way. Deep breath, folks. Many of my demos of late have been long ones. For some reason, I just seem to be dragged into the long haul demos a lot, which is really, it gets frustrating. I like them long, but I don't like doing too many of them. But yeah, I decided not to use colour for this because the image is not sharp enough for it. So this is now more than 21.5 minutes into this demo and counting. So this is going to be a long haul demo to upload onto my social media, YouTube and Facebook, namely, because I do a lot of social media. I try to get my stuff out there to find my partner. But even if we can't physically talk to each other, at least we can probably get on the phone and talk. Be better than nothing, folks. Anyway, that's come up looking better than I thought. Finally, we can call this demo quits.